I think the best thing for us to do is to begin at the beginning in terms of your discovering your abilities as a channel, and then perhaps segueing into what we're talking about here, the focus being dementia.
Sure. I'll start by defining channeling as it relates to me, because I know we all have a different understanding of it. But when I talk about channeling, I'm talking about connecting to divine energy and wisdom. And that's something that's within all of us. It's not something that I go outside of myself to grab and bring in. It's just a way that I have learned how to get out of my way, how to get more still, how to open up energy portals, if you will, and receive communication that will serve in the highest way. So I was not born doing this. I didn't know about it until well into my adulthood. I had a dear friend who was a very gifted channel. And when she first shared this gift with me, I was completely gobsmacked. I could not believe she was able to bring forward messages from souls that are on the planet, souls on the other side, questions that you could ask. And I was completely taken with how she did that. And in the course of my friendship with her, my mother, I was dealing with my mother's dementia. My mother had a type of dementia that affects younger people. It's called frontotemporal dementia, but there are so many different types of dementia. I've lost count now. And at the time, we didn't know for years what she actually had, because at that time they were not so good about pinpointing the different diagnostics on it. They knew it wasn't Alzheimer's. It didn't fit into that category, but she had personality changes and memory lapses and some mood, very strong mood shifts, anger, rage, frustration. It was a while before it started to affect like her speech and language, which I am very well trained for, because my clinical background is as a speech language pathologist. But I was finding that my adult relationship with my mother was so very frustrating with dementia on board. We were not understanding each other. She had no patience. I was having less and less patience. Things weren't making sense to her. She wasn't processing information. And even though I had all this clinical background, the mother-daughter relationship is a complex one. And so it's just different when I was trying to apply what I knew clinically to my mother, who would have none of it. So I asked my dear friend, could you please channel my mom's soul? I feel like I am falling far short of what I'm supposed to be for her, or how I can show up to this relationship with my full heart, and with less frustration and irritability around her. So my friend channeled my mom's soul, and I got to ask the questions I had, which were the ones I just mentioned, as well as, what do you need from me? What's the nature of your relationship with dad, and how can I support that? Or am I in the way of that? Or what does that look like? What are you experiencing when you go into a dazed sort of state and you look like you're somewhere else and we try to bring you back? What's that like for you? And I got to hear from her soul.
Wow.
Yeah. And it enlightened me in ways that made me write a book about it. And it also shifted our relationship into such a different direction that by the time she passed, which was 11 years ago, but this was 15 years of dementia that we walked with. By the time she passed, I can say I had a beautiful, loving, peaceful relationship with her. And it wasn't looking like we were going to have that at some points.
You never want to lose any loved one, but particular a mother and a mother-daughter dynamic. I understand. Mine's been gone almost 30 years now, and it's still difficult. But being that you had this absolutely extraordinary journey, Stephanie, for a number of years with the channeling of her soul, did it help soften, or I don't know if that's the right word to use, once she did cross over, did it help to help the pain? I guess there's no other way to say it. How did it help shift your attitude about the idea of death in general, I suppose?
Yeah. Well, totally and completely. It changed my notion, understanding, and fear of death, which I just don't have anymore. So after my friend channeled my mom and I saw what it did for us, I decided I have to learn how to do this for myself. And my relationship. So I took a lot of trainings and I put in, hundreds and thousands of hours of practice, and I learned how to get clear. And one of the things that was most useful to me as I was developing this skill, which I do believe we can all have if we're willing to invest the time and the practice to developing it, is that my relationship with my mom wasn't going to end when she left her body. In fact, it's the best it's ever been now that she doesn't have the body and the personality, being encumbered by those. But I knew that if we could spend some of this time understanding each other in this way, and I could make some adjustments to my behaviors and the way I'm communicating and connecting to her, then we might be able to sort out a different type of relationship. And that's what we were able to do. One of the wonderful things about dementia is that there is memory loss. I know that sounds crazy to say, but if we had a terrible interaction, wait a couple minutes. She's not going to remember that. We can start fresh, start over. I could use humor at every turn. Be silly, be light, be goofy. Just pick up her hands and start dancing with her, and that would change a mood. And so there are some things that you can do to stay connected to someone who's going through this very individual experience, because it's a very inward experience a lot of times, to engage with them. That's not intrusive, that's playful, that's fun, that's enjoyable, and allows for you to maintain the connection or establish the type of connection you want to have.